Hello there, I'm Dr. David Kale, President of the Australian Chiropractors Association, and welcome to my update for March 2023. Today is a really important topic, and at the end is a call to action which I ask of you, our ACA members. I would like to bring your attention to a research paper by Drs. Genevieve Keating and Lyndon Woods that was published last month in the CJA, your ACA journal. It is entitled Commentary on the 2019 SafeCare Victoria Review of Chiropractic Spinal Manipulation of Children under 12 years. Most likely you are familiar with this SafeCare Victoria Review. This commentary makes for extremely interesting and important reading. I say important because its conclusions include that this investigation was at least in part political, with recommendations that are currently still unresolved nearly 4 years down the track. As a profession, we need to open the conversation about how we handle this. As a reminder, you will likely recall that the review was instigated by the then Victorian Health Minister, Jenny Mikakos. Announcing the opening of the public survey, she stated, and I quote, "Now is the time for parents who have experienced the dangerous practice of child spinal manipulation to have a say and share their story. We won't rest until babies are protected from practices we know to be harmful." Clearly, these statements indicate a prejudicial position by the Minister, which simply cannot be a fair-minded way to begin an investigation. And what happened? The public and the professionals did indeed have their say. There were 29,599 responses received from the consultation survey, making it by far the greatest number of submissions ever received in response to a public call by government, the next largest being just over 9,000 to a policing survey. And what did these responses say? It could not have been further from what Minister Mikakos stated she was expecting. 99.7% of the responses from parents who had accessed chiropractic care for their children were supportive of that care. And 99.6% affirmed that they believed the chiropractic care benefited their child. 0.3% of the responses, 0.3%, reported as neutral or unsupportive. There were no reports of any adverse events or harm in those responses. There were 2,735 practitioner submissions. Of those, 13 practitioners raised concern over risk about delayed access to other care, but they provided no examples or experiences of serious harm to any child in support of this contention of risk. Insurance agencies were also asked to provide data relating to any claims made in relation to the chiropractic care of children under 12. It was found that no cases were reported where an insurance agent has had to defend or settle a claim. Let me say that again. There were none, zero claims against chiropractors in this country in regards to children. So let me be very clear. The overwhelming response to this government-led survey endorses chiropractic care for children as having an extraordinarily good safety record. With the expected responses detailing harm not materialising, the focus of the review then appeared to shift more towards evidence of effectiveness. A Cochrane review was commissioned by the SCV, and it appears the findings in this review have largely informed the final recommendation that, and I quote, "Spinal manipulation as defined by section 123 of national law should not be provided to children under 12 years of age for general wellness or for the management of the following conditions: developmental and behavioural disorders, hyperactivity disorders, autism spectrum disorders, asthma, infantile colic, bedwetting, ear infections, digestive problems, headache, cerebral palsy, and torticollis." This recommendation is based on the lack of evidence of effectiveness for these conditions and the current statement on advertising regarding inappropriate claims of benefit made by the Chiropractic Board of Australia. End quote. In their paper, Keating and Woods described serious shortcomings with the Cochrane review. For a start, there is no indication anywhere that it has been peer reviewed. By their own definition, Cochrane reviews are peer reviewed. It has not been published anywhere apart from in the appendix to the SCV review, a very unusual occurrence, and Keating Woods highlight aspects of the methodology which appear to be erroneous or misrepresentative. This is why peer review is so essential. Keating Woods go on to describe how the burden of proof of effectiveness, which is being applied to the chiropractic profession in this case, if applied more broadly, would also severely limit much common medical practice for children. And they use some examples to show that. The regulatory authorities expect us to behave in a professional manner. Absolutely fair enough. We are required to abide by the national law, and we are advised to practice according to a code of conduct in the name of protecting the public from dangerous practice. What do we have a right to expect from those in government and the public service when dealing with us? Investigations and deliberation free from a starting position of prejudice? A level playing field when it comes to demands for evidence of effectiveness? Conclusions to a review that are supported by the evidence? The ACA believes we have a right to expect all of those. Of course, we also have a moral imperative to provide the best chiropractic care that we can in a safe and responsible manner. I hope and fully expect that all ACA chiropractors feel this imperative deeply and practice accordingly. The overwhelmingly positive response to the SCV survey, quite apart from detailing harm as Minister Makakos expected, clearly supports that we are practicing safely with children. Yet the conclusion and recommendations from the report do not reflect this. This appears, as evidenced by Keating Woods, to be political, at least partly political, contrary to the evidence gathered and dismissive of the voice of the public. To this date, there has been no resolution from government in response to this review, which leaves our profession in an unacceptable state of limbo. The interim ban imposed back in 2019 on the practice of spinal manipulation on children under 2 in response to this call by the Minister is still in place. The ACA believes this to be unfairly restrictive and counter to the public good. The ACA is very grateful to Drs. Keating and Woods for their scholarship and their courageous willingness to uncover and document the truth. Keep providing your very best care to the children of Australia. 99.6% of the parents in the review believe your care to be beneficial to their child. A glowing endorsement. My call to action for you is to 1. Read the paper in its entirety and familiarise yourself with the facts. It can of course be found through your ACA members website. And number 2, proudly tell your patients of this extraordinarily positive response our profession has received from the community. In representing you, the ACA will be taking this issue to governments, community and the media to outline and support your contribution to children's healthcare in Australia. Thank you. I'll see you next time.